I found Richard and his book as an answer to prayer in 2019 after suffering for 3.5 years, and it took about 6 months for me to get clear and what I would call go into total remission. And this group was a huge part of that, as was Richard and his book. I really suggest to everyone, you know, if you want to get well, get the book, read the book many times, do the diet, start disinfecting your environment, take the baths, and you will get well. I want to talk about Richard. Richard is unique in that, you know, because we are his research team, he's constantly adding to his book. And the 10th edition is going to come out soon because as information is revealed, he adds it in. And that's kind of how science works, you know. It's not cut and dry. You learn new facts, and so you add stuff in. These organisms are a total mystery to most doctors, to science. So we are his 5,000-strong research team. And as we find things and share them, and he learns new information, he updates his book. He doesn't have all the answers. Nobody does. But he has a lot of answers, and they have worked for a lot of people. So in the mid-90s, he was suffering with relentless itching. And he, through trial and error, he created this elimination diet, is how it started, which he calls the king diet because it's the king of all diets for getting clear of parasites. And it helped him get his life back. And then he developed products to help clean your skin, to help clear your environment, and he has helped hundreds of people get their life back as well. He communicates by email. You can email him questions. I think it's 1 to 3 questions a day is the limit, so you can email him as many times over the week as you need to. And his protocol was what turned things around for me, and it made a huge difference. So I'm really grateful for Richard. I'm grateful for this call. I hope that you get the help that you need by being here. Now remember, we introduce ourselves by our first name and where we're from. And at this point, I'd like to introduce Richard from New Jersey.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you. I love the background there. Is that wallpaper behind you?
No, this is my son's backyard. I'm on his screened-in porch.
Wow, it's fantastic. I would think it would be backlit, but it looks beautiful. Everybody's going to have to look at the video when it's up on YouTube because it's a beautiful background. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I'm kind of fortunate. I mean, I didn't think of it ever being fortunate to have Columbella, Morgellons, and Strongyloid. I never thought there would be any benefit to me personally out of that because it was at the point I was ready to basically end my life. And if I didn't have something to live for, such as my 4-year-old son at the time, I may have done that. But I've been in the trenches. I know what it feels like. I've beaten, not to impress you, but to let you know I've been in the trenches. I've beaten chronic Lyme disease along with it, skin rashes. So I have the personal experience, and through all of you that I communicate with by email, I learn more and more and more. I mean, the protocol has developed over the years. So there may be people that say, well, I tried that diet, but I didn't get anywhere. Well, I always say don't try the diet, do the diet. And it sometimes can take a while to kick in. Well, before I get too technical, I need to let each and every one of you know what the FDA requires of me. And the FDA requires that I inform you that I'm not a medical doctor and that before you start the King diet, which is tops when it comes to parasites, as Robin said, or accept any of my recommendations, that If you complete the questionnaire that was accompanied with this email that announced the program, I will be glad to go through it, educate you to the best that I can as to what you're dealing with, and then provide you detailed recommendations. You can, of course, read the book over and over and put it together for yourself, but do it. I kind of make it easy for you and just do it ABC. So before you implement any of the recommendations, the FDA says you are to discuss them thoroughly with your medical doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems you're presently experiencing. Of course, the AMA and FDA would also want me to tell you that I am not here, I am not trained to cure, treat, or mitigate any skin disorder or skin disease. The purpose of the work that I do and the purpose of Robin and the other coaches that we have, we're here to educate you how to clean them out of your environment, because they're everywhere in your environment, usually by the time that you find that you have something like this. Clean them out of your skin. Get them out of there. And clean them out of your body. They're systemic. They're everywhere in your body by the time you figure out what might be going on. And to build health and immune functioning through the targeted, pinpointed supplements that we have in the program for various purposes. So, did anybody read this morning's update that I sent out? Went out around 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Did anybody read that update? No?
I read it. This is Genevieve from Mississippi. I read it.
I'm going to listen to the update now.
Okay, what was it about?
Well, I was interested because I've dealt with leaky gut syndrome, and I think everything starts with the gut anyway. And so, I mean, I was really interested to see what you were going to say about that. I just thought you were going to connect it to.
I can barely hear you. Your voice sounds like it's getting wrapped around a pole.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay, good. I just turned the volume up. Well, it just said that you were going to be talking about the leaky gut syndrome, and that got my attention because I was diagnosed with just a gluten allergy about 10 years ago, which was pretty amazing. It only took this doctor a year. She was really good. And so I eliminated all these foods and ended up being gluten. But I personally need to start taking it again.
Gosh, your voice keeps fading in and out. I can barely hear.
Okay.
What was the subject of the email that went out this morning?
I thought it was going to be on the 12-3, but the leaky gut syndrome.
The conundrum. Morgellons and scratching. Everybody that's got Morgellons and skin parasites has one basic symptom. And what is that symptom?
Itchy skin.
Itching skin.
Hot, itchy, yeah.
Feels like it itches from underneath your skin, doesn't it? And what do you do? When your skin itches, what do you do?
Scratch it.
You scratch it. Well, that all seems nice, right? And does the itch ever go away?
Nope.
Nope. Seems to get deeper and deeper and deeper. And you keep scratching, you end up with scratch marks on your skin. You end up with red marks. Wow. And gosh, have you ever, I mean, I've talked about the perfect storm several times, about the combination of 5G, chemtrails, glyphosate, GMOs, and how the gut gets affected from glyphosate and GMOs. But here we have another one. It's like Morgellons self-perpetuates a disorder in the gut, which is called leaky gut syndrome. The research says that when you scratch yourself, it activates mast cells in the small intestine, and they end up separating, growing apart, contributing to leaky gut. And what is leaky gut? All the toxins that come into your body through the foods that we eat, including the glyphosate, get passed right through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream, where it does nothing but poison you slowly. Slowly. It's a slow death. So, gosh, the first step we need to look at is what can we do to minimize the scratching? I mean, I know I've been there. I've scratched myself relentlessly. What can we do to reduce? Well, the first thing is you look at is something to apply to the skin to take the itch away. And what better than, well, I mean, you've tried all kinds of things. You've tried maybe Caladryl. You've tried a lot of things over the counter. Amylactin, and the list goes on and on. What?
Ice pack.
Yes, all kinds of things. Well, I don't know, but my experience is that the nature's gift is given me the greatest relief in the shortest time of anything else. I mean, even you see, nobody's ever cured of these diseases. Or I don't know if you want to call them diseases or if you want to call them organisms, propensity to be affected by these organisms. We're never cured. They're in the environment. And the more we know about our relationship with the environment, the better off we are. So for me, one of my things that I do in life is I'm a contractor. So I visit homes of homeowners who need work done to give them an estimate. And one week, 4 out of 5 yards I walked away with. The scratching, you know, it only takes 5 minutes in a yard, and I'm affected. And fortunately, I always have the nature's gift with me, and instead of scratching and scratching and scratching, I apply, and within 20 minutes, it's like history. I'd hate to think of what it would be like if I didn't have it with me. So it's amazing how effective that is, because back in the 90s, I never found much of anything other than a scalding bath to take away the itch. So, anyone like to share how you've used the nature's gift and how it's worked for you?
This is Jennifer from San Antonio. My dad had purchased it for me because we've tried a bazillion different things, and I was using, you know, antifungals. I mean, just all kinds of things. Vasculations. Lidocaine was my friend because it's the one thing that it just numbed, you know, all of it. When I started to use Nature's Miracle, I didn't even pay attention to it, but my daughter had asked me if I needed to take my lidocaine with me. We were going to the store, and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't used it in 2 weeks. I hadn't used the lidocaine at all, and I was using it 3, 4, 5 times a day on my skin. And since I was doing the bath, the soaks, I hadn't had to use it.
Thank you. It's incredible. It's incredible. It does the job. Anyone else like to share? Thank you. The idea is to get rid of that itch so we don't have to scratch it.
Right.
Because it's what do you call that? A catch-21?
Yeah, definitely.
Is that a catch-21?
22.
22.
Like I catch 2 million into.
I was amazed when I saw that research. I was totally flattened. I thought we had enough problems.
Right.
And what we do to create a little bit of relief causes problems elsewhere.
Right.
And as Socrates said centuries ago, disease starts in the gut. I think he said all disease starts in the gut. I think we're also finding out that the mouth is also important with its microbes as well. But our microbes in the gut get destroyed, and we are history. So the other things to do is always to look at building healthy gut. And we have one product in the store. I learned about it from Dr. Zach Bush. And if you haven't seen his series on GMOs Revealed, well, it's not his series. He's in 2 of the, I think, about 10 or 11 videos in GMOs Revealed. He discusses how the glyphosate, and until we get rid of it for at least 10 years, get rid of selling it, get it out of our environment, we have no chance of being kind of normal, because it's everywhere. We're going to get it. Even if you're on an organic diet, you're going to still get it. It can be in the air, in the rain. It can be in the water that we drink. So it's there, and it's in all of us. And it's a low-level antibiotic, very much like they used to feed antibiotics to chickens. Those antibiotics, the reason they stopped feeding the antibiotics to chickens is because they discovered that the antibiotics get into us and affect us. So now they use, Purdue uses things like Marigold, natural antibiotics, which I commend them for. So Restore is the name of a product, and I guess it's kind of like a pun. Restore your gut health. So we do have it in our store. It's a blend of soil-based minerals specifically to cultivate good flora. The other thing is that if you are, if you know that you have or suspect leaky gut syndrome, you want to feed the mucosa the right food, and the other is L-glutamine. It's a natural sugar that doesn't feed the parasites, but it feeds your mucosa and strengthens them to tighten up the junctures so that you have less leaky gut syndrome. So those 2 things are important to do. Also, if you look back in our updates, you'll find an update about prebiotics. From the beginning of time, it's been touted that probiotics are very beneficial for Morgellons. Probiotics. And probiotics are very beneficial for Morgellons. The only problem with probiotics is that they are live organisms that can deteriorate or die in the heat of the summer sun, being trucked in a UPS truck or a mail truck. There are only about maybe 19 to 20 species out of the thousands of possible species of probiotics that are actually in the capsule, so they're not really a balanced approach, and they are good for Morgellons, except the fact that 80% of the people who send the questionnaires who are dealing with Morgellons also are dealing with Columbella, and Columbella love probiotics. So there you have the snake biting its tail, because you take probiotics, and if you're dealing with Columbella, you're not going to get very far. So the newer science goes beyond, way beyond probiotics to prebiotics, and there are certain vegetables that are listed that support the benefit and growth of natural gut flora to build the natural probiotics in your system. So that's the way to go. Anyone have a question about that or like to share? Well, let's get into the stress of all this, because that's one of the things Robin said we're going to be talking about, is all of the stress, isolation, confusion that come about waking up one day and putting the pieces of the puzzle together and saying, Christ, I got some skin parasite. I know I got it. The doctors tell me I'm delusional, that I'm imagining it, but I know I got something, and I feel it. It's real. I know it's real. And then have nobody to turn to, nobody for help, nobody to get any effective medication or any effective advice. That is like being slapped up the side of the head with a sledgehammer. Anyone like to share your experiences in dealing with it so that we know that you are at the right place, on the right call? Don't be shy.
This is
Hello.
Jennifer from San Antonio.
Yes?
Can you hear me? Okay. So I recently, have been told 100 times to not go to the dermatologist, and if you do go, don't use the word Morgellons, so on and so forth. Well, evidently I'm, older and not wiser because I led with I have Lyme disease and Morgellons. I was sent away with risperidone. Nothing to affect my skin at all, but an
There's some kind of feedback. Is it coming from your line? Do you have feedback?
I'm not sure. I don't have any reverb on my side, but
okay, that sounds good now.
Okay.
All right, please continue.
Well, so they had prescribed risperidone, and basically told me that my dental surgery that I had about 6 years ago must have destroyed some nerves in my face, and that is what's causing, the itching. No one ever touched my skin. No one ever biopsied. No one swabbed it. No one assessed the rest of my body where, I have wounds as well. It was just, it literally, I left there crying, and I mean, without sounding too aggressive, I wanted to punch somebody in the throat because it's awful. It literally it's the loneliest feeling in the world for someone to not believe you and you to hurt and suffer so much.
And you have to turn to the internet to get what? Confused, lost among all the different theories and experts?
Right, and amongst that, I've been an RN for 14 years, and I literally cannot function as a nurse any longer because, one, I look awful. Two, I can't think straight. I forget my name half the time. And three, I'm not sure that I have any faith in the medical industry anymore because of this.
At least in this area.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they're great at putting bodies back together from wars and things like that, and they're great at cancer. But this area, I don't know, right?
Yeah, it literally it seems to me like it's a situation where nobody wants to discuss the actual root of it, and if Lyme is, the root cause, then what?
Right. Well, it's taken me 20 years, I guess, to figure out the perfect storm and all the pieces of the puzzle, and I still keep finding more pieces of this puzzle. And we can. 2 weeks ago, I did the subject of the call was the cure for Morgellons, and basically the cure for Morgellons is roll back time, roll back the time and get glyphosate out of the world, get the chemtrail limited to producing rain and not into nanobots and artificial intelligence, get rid of GMOs and get rid of 5G. That would cure Morgellons.
Right. That's
the cure. So.
Yeah.
And stop scratching yourself.
Right. Well, and that's what I think is funny too, because people they look at you like you're a nut job, and it's like if you felt what I felt, you would dig it out yourself, and you would be crazy for not digging it out,
Right.
I promised my son that I would not touch it, scratch it, pick it, whatever, because he kept saying, Mom, this is you're doing this, and it was like, son, look, and then so he kind of got a chance to see a little bit of movement actually on my skin, and he
opened his eyes.
Yeah, it freaked him the heck out is what it did. So
I bet he moved away from you real fast.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. A 16-year-old boy will distance himself anyways, but I think I might have pushed a little further.
One of our goals is also to laugh. So,
yeah,
laughter creates hormones that are healthy for us.
Yes, absolutely.
So every opportunity that you have every day, find a YouTube channel that has the kind of comedians that you enjoy, and go at it. Laugh it up.
Yep. Well,
Be in that moment.
I also have a 13-year-old daughter who's growing like a weed, and she's, coming into her big feet, so she makes me laugh quite often.
That's great. Well, is this your first time?
It is, yes, sir.
Okay, well, keep coming back. I want you to be a coach within about 6 or 8 months, okay?
Sounds great.
All right. Anyone else like to share?
Richard, I'd like to add something.
Yes, Richard.
Richard in Texas. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and a friend of mine is also a Vietnam veteran, and he's had, like me, he's had problems with, parasites. And he said, think back on it. He said, we were both exposed to Agent Orange. He said, do you suppose that that's got something to do with it too? And I said, well, I really don't know. I said, I know this much. If you bring it up to the VA says, no, definitely not. But there are a lot of veterans that were in the Vietnam War, and they suffer from parasites, skin rashes, and this and that due to Agent Orange. And so I just thought I'd throw that in, see what you thought.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I know of a person who actually died from Agent Orange. It contributed to cancer of this esophagus for him, and it was a quick, demoralizing death. There's nothing good about Agent Orange, and if you actually look back in our blog post, maybe a year or so ago, you'll see that glyphosate is a derivative from Agent Orange. It's actually manufactured from Agent Orange.
Interesting too.
So,
okay.
There is a connection, and it's a bad one. I mean, you talk about the Vietnam War. More recently, we have the Gulf War syndrome. All this stuff is connected.
Oh yes, definitely.
To our to the ill health of many of our veterans.
Yeah, well, I know I had cancer from Agent Orange, and I got over that, but it was a battle. Another thing I wanted to ask you on the diet. Do you recommend that a person take the Garcillin that you have in your store?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. All right.
There's a basic nutritional package. It's called the Columbula Lime package, and it's the multiple vitamin. It's taken us years to find the multiple vitamin that is ideal, and this multiple vitamin is specifically formulated for Lyme disease, and it doesn't have the minerals in it. It's just a multiple vitamin, which is what a multiple vitamin should be. And then we have the Garcillin, we have the Max 1, and we have the ionic minerals. You put those four things together, as I did, and you may never need a treatment for Lyme disease. And it will support you in getting rid of Columbula.
Okay. All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Now, again, this is not a treatment. This is a nutritional supplementation to build your immune functioning. And when you do that effectively, oftentimes you don't need the medical intervention with the antibiotics or the vitamin C therapy or the herb therapy that they typically use for the treatment of Lyme disease.
Well, an interesting thing is the doctor said to me that I think there's something wrong with your immune system. I said, okay, well, isn't there a test you can do to find out what's wrong with it? Oh, we don't know how to do that. And I thought, well, this is modern medicine?
Yeah, that's kind of strange. very much. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else like to share? Let's talk about the isolationism, the frustration, the aggravation, the stress of it, while Robin is here, so we can go through our stress management technique that we want to share with you for the day and have you use during the week.
What?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please speak.
This is Palma from Pittsburgh, Richard.
Hi.
I'm in serious decline. I had to leave my fiance's house. It's infested with threadworm. Complete infestation. I'm staying in an extended stay place with my granddaughter, who does have it as well. And these things they're in my whole body. One is I have Crohn's disease, and one is right inside near the rectum in the vaginal area, the nodule. The nodules are all over my body. They're everywhere, and there are cuts and black and blue marks everywhere. I was able to get the albendazole online, and the infection, I have infection on my neck, chest, and the vaginal area is so infected. My doctor gave me, he still doesn't believe, he just thinks it's an infection, but it seems to be spreading, the infection. And
now let me ask you one serious. May I ask you one serious, important question?
Yes.
Have you started the diet?
We together, my granddaughter Nikki and I have been eating all this, as many things as we can on the diet. No sugar. We're really working hard to do that.
Okay.
And
now you are only on the diet when you are totally on the diet. One little Tic-Tac breath mint and you are not on the diet. It's very tremendously strict.
Okay.
And it can take, and Robin can attest to this, it took her a month for it to kick in. So as I said before, don't try it, do it, and keep doing it because the diet works. And Robin, share why it took you so long for the diet to kick in, so everybody can relate and connect.
So, my environment was so infested. The diet would have worked much quicker, and it was longer than a month. It was like 2 or 3 months. But my environment was so bad that I kept getting reinfested from the environment, and I finally went on one of the drugs recommended in Richard's book. I got a doctor to work with, and it lowers the intake of dopamine in your body, which lowers your attractiveness to the parasites, so that the diet could kick in, and then I could attack the environment without getting attacked back. And that was really important at that point in time for me. And the reason, what the woman who had talked about going to the dermatologist, there is no test for Morgellons. They don't have the equipment. You would need a molecular microscope because Morgellons is caused by a variation of Lyme bacteria, Bartonella spirochete, and no doctor has the ability to test for that. But the antipsychotic drugs they give you actually work in many cases because they lower the intake of dopamine, which lowers the attractiveness of your body to the parasites, and people do get better. But if you don't clean your skin and clean your environment, it doesn't last. So it's a window of time where I could, work hard on getting well that way.
Thanks, Robin.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's more, Richard. My whole body is filled with black and blue marks all over where they penetrate. They've penetrated now just overnight in my neck, and there are the nodules on my head, on different parts of my head. And it seems they like to go in the veins, they lay the eggs there, and it's obvious. Or calcification, any scars, stuff like that?
Well, let me say that we know exactly what's going on, and until you can kick in the diet, there are 4 things that are very important to do simultaneously.
Okay.
And number 1 is do the diet. As Robin said, if you have an infected environment, it's hard to tell that the diet is working because you're constantly being reinfected. So number 2 is to disinfect the environment. Whether the simple basic ammonia works in spraying or whether you need to use a triple pesticide, Chapter 3 is about 55, 60 pages of different things to do to clean the environment, different types of disinfectants. And the environment, there are millions of these organisms. They've got to be gotten out. One of the basic ones is diatomaceous earth, very inexpensive, very cheap to spread it around so that any organism that touches it gets shredded to pieces.
I did that.
So
but
it's important that
I left it.
The environment isn't.
I'm
what?
sorry. I left my fiance's house. He died July 2nd. I do believe that played a part in his death. But I
Sorry
have my
to hear
own.
that.
Thank you. And my granddaughter and I are staying in an extended stay place until I can go to my own home. The only problem is I had to leave my little cats. They're infected. They have it. That's why I put the earth all over the place. The poor
Right.
little
So
thing.
yes, if I may finish, that's 2 things: the diet, the disinfection of the environment, and then the cleaning of your skin. For me, years ago, before the debriding soap was available, I could only do it with scalding baths. And maybe I used Epsom salts, I don't remember, but scalding baths. Fortunately, with Nature's Gift, I recommend up to 3 times a day in a bathtub for up to 40 minutes, along with one of the disinfectants that's listed in Chapter 3 to destroy them as they are brought from your skin into the bath water. So those 3 things are important to do simultaneously. It's a lot of work. And then the 4th thing, if it's affordable, is to kick in the supplements. Robin mentioned the application or the use of certain medications. A lady in Hawaii asked about this in the very beginning of the program. For years, I was ridiculed because I used ORAP, that was Primazide. It's a medication for Tourette syndrome, not for, and it's not an antipsychotic as people say it is. It's for Tourette syndrome. And I've been ridiculed for suggesting it. And in my book, in fact, if you go to Amazon, you'll see there are a couple of 1-stars, and they all pick on those medications, thinking that I was giving in to the psychiatrist, because if you go to the psychiatrist, he will prescribe one of those medications, which are typically called antipsychotics, but they're not all antipsychotics. True, Zyprexa it's for schizophrenia, but there's Abilify, there's Wellbutrin, and there are several other medications. So,
I'm on Lyrica, Richard.
What?
Lyrica, isn't that on the list?
I believe it is, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the list memorized. But after many, many years, just recently, within the last 6 months, I think there was a research project done within the last 6 months. It may be a little bit longer, but it found that these medications work with parasites because they reduce the uptake of dopamine in the brain. They reduce the receptors that are in the brain that uptake the dopamine. It kind of turns them off, so the dopamine is not uptaken from the brain, and that's what turns off the attractor factor. Now, that was incredible news. It makes sense to all these medications and makes them valuable. And then one lady wrote in, and as Robin said, you guys are my research team. One lady wrote in and said, hey, why don't you find out something that does it naturally? And she pointed me to a few herbs. So I'm blessed that one of my coaches is an herbalist, and she has been tasked with coming up with a formula of herbs to reduce the uptake of dopamine in the brain so we don't have to be criticized for taking these stupid medications, of which some can have side effects, serious side effects. And we don't want that.
Are you speaking of Barbara Moon?
Yes.
She's my friend, and we pray together. She helps me. But
She's a great lady.
I love her. This is one of the problems. My whole body is filled, the whole body, everywhere, is waxy secretions, and I don't know how to break through it.
Well, for biofilm is something that shows up with a lot of Morgellons people. And the thing that we turn to is our kinase enzymes. The kinase enzymes that we have in our store that weren't there over a year ago. They've been there about a year now because I constantly study and I constantly learn things. And chitin, well, chitin isn't related to the biofilm, but the kinase enzymes go after chitin, which is connected with mite eggs and fungal infections and candida, as somebody had mentioned earlier. So that's one way of dealing with that. But these enzymes also go after biofilm. So that's another tremendous value. I don't know of anything else that really goes after biofilm other than the Nature's Gift mouthwash with the cinnamon and the peppermint in it does a good job in the mouth with biofilm, but I think the enzymes are even better.
I want to remark on one more thing. It may sound nutty, but I was left to my own devices because doctors didn't believe me. And I found Vermex paste for equines online, and I get that. And I put it in my hair and anywhere they break through. So.
Well, yes.
Excuse me, but I have to leave in 10 minutes. I don't know if you want to do some deep.
Okay, let's do, yeah, because we kind of got sidetracked into the technical stuff. The point is that I was looking at is that the frustration, aggravation that we all go through creates a lot of stress that activates what is called the sympathetic nervous system, which creates a whole bunch of hormones, norepinephrine, adrenaline, and cortisol circulating through our bodies. Cortisol releases blood sugar. Blood sugar increases and parasites go crazy and love it. So Robin and I are going to take you through a breathing technique. It's the first step that you'll learn in any stress management technique is deep breathing. And it's just a matter of when you feel that you're stressed out and you're at wit's end, is just to sit down and take a few deep breaths. Okay, so go ahead, Robin.
Okay, so for those of you who are new on the call, we're going to sit up straight, feet on the ground, shoulders down, chin up. We're going to breathe from our diaphragm, which is in our belly. We're going to breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth. When you breathe in, your stomach goes out and your shoulders do not go up. We're going to breathe in for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds, and then in a controlled exhale, use our stomach muscles and our diaphragm to slowly push the air out for 10 seconds. Okay? So we're going to release the air with a cleansing breath. And we're going to breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Breathe in peace. 3, 4, 5, and hold on to hope. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out fear. Let it go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slowly breathe in joy. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold onto that joy. 3, 4, 5, and release. Breathe out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out and know you can do this. 4, 5, 6, 7. It will get better. And breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Think of something that makes you smile. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release the sadness. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One more. Breathe in slowly. Hope, peace, and joy, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, and release the anxiety, release the fear, release the discouragement as you slowly breathe out. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Take a deep breath and release.
Thank you, Richard and Robin. Thank you.
We're glad to be here for you.
You're very welcome.
I'm scared. I am scared because they're everywhere. I'm taking the candida stuff from Barbara and the grapeseed stuff. But could you please send me a list of, mail it if you could, to me so I could get the stuff in the store?
Sure. Have you completed the questionnaire?
No, I had trouble with my computer. Now I have a new laptop, so we're getting to that. My granddaughter's good at the computer.
All right. As soon as you can do that, then I can fulfill your request and send you everything that is in the protocol based on the answers that you provide in the questionnaire. And if you have trouble working with a DOC or a DOCX document, let me know, and I'll email you the questionnaire in the body of an email that you can work with.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. God bless you and thank you.
Keep coming back. Remember, Robin was where you are now a year ago.
Okay. I'm just sad for my little cats. I feel horrible leaving them. I go every day in Tyvek suits and gas masks, so I take that route just so as not to get more polluted.
Cats can get better also. It just takes work.
Robin's cats have totally recovered.
Well, one of them.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
The other one died.
Okay.
I don't think it was from the Morgellons. He had a brain tumor.
Oh.
But yeah, my cat is totally better. So I'm sorry that I have to leave the call early today. I'm actually on the first vacation I've had in 7 years visiting with my kids, and I'll be back next week. But I gave my coaching numbers, and you can get them from Richard if you weren't on the call earlier. And
give them again, please.
Okay, my cell phone. 413-441-5185, and my home phone, again, I'm not going to be home until Wednesday, is 413-243-2271. Cell 413-441-5185. Home 413-243-2271. I'm on the East Coast. Be glad to talk to you. And sorry I have to leave the call early, but you guys hang in there. Don't give up. Be well, and I'll see you next week.
Your hair looks great, Robin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Love you. Enjoy the family.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I want to thank you for everything. You gave me hope again, even though I feel like hell. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are most welcome. Keep coming back. Our goal here is to provide inspiration, answers to the best of our ability. We don't know all the answers, but we know probably more than a lot of people do. And provide a listening ear for you. Okay, anyone else have any thing you'd like to share? How's the deep breathing working for you while we just did that? How you been practicing it? Are you using it? I mean, we've had people share that they've gotten rid of chronic hypertension just by practicing deep breathing because it's an incredible tool to reduce hypertension. You can do it right there in a doctor's office while he's taking your blood pressure. You do that deep breathing and the BP goes down. You end up at 130/70 or even lower. Anyone like to share? How'd you feel after doing the deep breathing? Yes?
That was the first time I've done that, and it seems to be, I don't think I have the lung capacity to breathe as long as I should, but...
You start at a count of 4 instead of 5.
That's what my daughter and I just did.
Yeah, just do a count of 4 instead of 5. I mean, there are all kinds of, if you go walking, do it as you're walking. You could do cadence breathing. In my other website, destress.com, there's a program on abdominal breathing. It's like 45 minutes of just different types of breathing exercises.
Sounds good.
I even have a program for delivery of baby, for Lamaze breathing. Anyone else like to share or ask a question?
Everything be delivered, what can't be delivered?
Hello?
Hi, Beth.
Hi.
I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Hi. Beth from Virginia. And thank you, Richard and Robin, for everything. So when you take your NG with you, do you use full strength NG?
Oh, no, the diluted. With your first order of NG, you should have gotten a little pen-size spray bottle. Only hold like 10 milliliters. I forget how many drops you put in. You put it in like 8 drops and then fill it with water, but it came with instructions. That's all you need.
Okay. And then also, for the kinase enzymes, I have that kinase, and I've only been taking one before breakfast, but I thought I'm still having a little bit of activity. How many, it says you can take up to 5. Like, how do you figure out how to increase it?
Until you get your desired result, you just keep going up. And then when you get your desired result, then you start coming down.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You want to watch for detox. And I think in our last program we talked about detox. The last video, it's on YouTube, it was entirely about detox.
Okay, thank you.
You want to be prepared for detox. You don't want to get in a situation where you're detoxing and not know what to do. You want to be in advance, either working with zeolite. You want to either be taking zeolite, you get that from Amazon, or you want to be using one of our Agro Relief digestive enzymes with the amino acids, and then that will minimize any detox issues.
Now the Agro Relief, Is that okay with Morgellons and Columbella?
Yes. Yes, the agro relief is fine. It's also called gluten relief. So people who have gluten sensitivities, that's one of the best enzymes that you could be taking. The Floricore enzymes have probiotics. And like I said, they're good for Morgellons, but I wouldn't do them until you're into mid-stage 2 of the diet. And then you might switch to the Floricore.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty much in mid-stage 2, but I thought maybe I should just do the Agora relief just to start.
Yeah. Good place to start.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Keep coming back. Anyone else like to share or ask a question?
This is Dottie in Pennsylvania. You said you had sent emails this morning. How do you get your emails?
How did you learn of the program, Dottie?
I had sent for the
One of his dark.
Are you on our mailing list?
I probably am now. I had sent for the debribing soap. I had a friend found the Morgellons symptoms that I have and told me that it may be that. And so I sent for the debriding soap and last week, and I got it, and I've used it once. And now I ordered some more things yesterday, but I didn't know how to, if you still have my payment history on there. I didn't know how to pay for it.
Yeah. Well, that you would work out with Chris. You would call the office tomorrow. But the emails, once you signed up, you should be getting emails from me every 4 days, and then you have an email to announce this program. Did you get any emails at all from us?
No.
All right. Can you jot down this email address?
Okay.
It's K as in kick, N
yes.
as in Nancy,
yes.
I as in ice, C as in cat.
I'm sorry, V as in vice?
No, K,
no.
N, Nancy, I as in ice cube.
Okay.
C as in cat, the number 2 at Verizon.net.
At Verizon.
.net. Make sure it's .net.
Okay.
And just put a note there to ask me to include you in the email, and I'll do that for you.
Okay. Now, let me go back to the beginning. KNIC.
Yes.
2 at Verizon.net.
Right.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. And this is Richard?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question or like to ask or share your experiences
yes.
being in the program?
Hello, Richard. It's me, Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, good. I got infected, but I'm feeling better now. And I hear something about from you the lufenuron.
Yes, lufenuron. Yeah, that's very good pronunciation. You did very well. It took me 10 years to learn how to figure out to pronounce that word. Yes.
Okay. I taken lufenuron for second time, but I hear from you that you taking with enzymes. I don't know what kind of enzymes.
Oh, Kinase Enzymes. Did you complete the questionnaire?
No. What is it?
Have you completed the questionnaire?
No.
All right, please do. You're missing a big part of what to do. Now, you get attached to this email that you just got announcing the program was a questionnaire. If
what
you
I
can
have to
open
put in
it.
the subject of the email?
What?
What I have to put in the subject of the email? I have your email.
Oh, just say, please send questionnaire.
Question?
Yeah, just please say, please send questionnaire.
Oh, okay.
And it'll give you the details about the enzymes.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to share, ask a question?
Richard, Maria from San Antonio. I'd like to get some clarification on glucosate or glycogen and how to spell it. I want to research it. And
what is the word?
I'm finding glycogen or glyphosate.
Glyphosate. Yeah, just look for Roundup. Roundup herbicide. Roundup.
Well, I looked up glyphosate and I saw this diagram of white lines on a black background. All these straight lines crisscrossing each other.
Well, here's the spelling. Glyphosate. GLYPHOSATE. Glyphosate.
Okay.
Took me 6 months to learn how to pronounce that word. Glyphosate.
I'll go with that. Then.
I'm an engineer, so I don't do well pronouncing words.
All right, you're excused.
Thank you.
You make up for it. Make up for it.
Anyone else have a question or like to share?
Richard?
Yes.
I'd like to ask on the mouthwash if it has NG soap that you use for your skin. Is that in the mouthwash?
Yes, it's the NG, which is analysis, bioform carbon and nitrogen. That's it. Chemical analysis. And bioform meaning it doesn't come from coal, diamonds, or any graphite or graphene. It comes from renewable plant sources.
What is it, carbon and what else?
Nitrogen.
Oh, nitrogen. Is there anything else in the NG soap?
The liquid, the concentrate?
Yeah.
Traces of natural alcohol. What else is it? Traces of natural alcohol, ammonia as ammonium, and talc oil.
What kind of oil?
Talc, T-A-L.
Oh, what is that?
I don't know.
Is it edible?
Yes.
Oh, I could look it up, couldn't I?
Yeah, it's a very safe oil.
Very good. So
that is traces in the concentrate. So when you dilute it, it's like traces of a trace of a trace, because you dilute it 1:64, so the trace becomes minuscule.
Okay, so like I just ordered the 100% concentrate.
Right.
So how would I dilute that?
1:64. There are instructions that should be with it, with your first order, that tell you how many drops to put in that pen spray dispenser.
Okay.
So that's how you dilute it. You go by that ratio.
Okay, for the 100% concentrate, or is that the 50%?
The instructions handle both.
Oh, okay. So that means then you could actually brush your teeth with the NG soap.
Yes.
Oh, good.
You brush your teeth with a mouthwash.
Well, yes, I'm saying we could use the NG soap as well.
Yeah, you could, but the mouthwash tastes better.
Ah.
Peppermint, cinnamon.
Peppermint and cinnamon.
Right.
And you say that gets rid of biofilm in the mouth.
It helps. I don't say that it gets rid of it, but it helps diminish it dramatically.
Oh.
And the other thing, if you have biofilm in the mouth, is that you might actually take the capsule of the kinase enzymes, open it up, and take your capsule has a big part and a small part. Say, take the small part and have it about 2/3 full, and put that in water and stir it up, and then swish that around in your mouth as well.
What do you do? What do you put in your mouth?
The kinase enzymes. Take it out of the capsule. I mean, people have reported that they take it out of the capsule and they make a paste with it, and they apply that to the skin to help deal with lesions. I mean, some people have very serious lesions, and there's different ways of dealing with them. You can, for instance, make a paste with the kinase enzymes and apply that to the lesion. You can take the acillin and take that out of the capsule and put that on the lesions. You can take our nano-glutathione and apply that to the lesions. And we also have a deep wound cleanse kit that is in the store, and you can use that for lesions.
I see. All right.
We have a lot of the bases covered.
Wonderful.
Anyone else like to share or ask a question?
Richard, this is Dottie again. When does the YouTube go on? When is this on YouTube?
This will be on by the end of the week. Right after this call is done, Chris is going to email me a link to this video, and you can go on it right away. I will email you the link, and you'll go on it right away, but it will then be transferred to YouTube later on.
Okay.
So the link I send you today will not be active a week from now. It'll just be for the next few days.
Okay. And how long is it on?
Will it on YouTube? Will it be on YouTube indefinitely?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay.
We don't take them down.
How soon will it be on YouTube?
What?
How soon will it be on YouTube?
By the end of the week.
And what's it called?
Well, you'll get a link to it. I don't know what we'll call it. We'll probably call it Scratching Yourself to Death.
Okay.
I don't know. That just popped out of my mind.
You haven't done that before?
Richard, it's so crazy it just might work. I think you're on to something. I mean, haven't you been around the block? I mean, really.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions or would like to share your progress, lack of progress, how we can help you, how I can help you?
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a friend who is helping me and suggesting those, what you call the antipsychotics. But I said, well, listen, I don't want to risk the side effects. So he said, well, find an herbalist. And so I found my daughter. She brought me CBD oil. How do you feel about that?
About what?
CBD oil.
I don't know. I have to plead total ignorance on CBD oil.
Well, there's a fellow who says he's a pastor in Colorado. He says the original anointing oil of the Hebrews was CBD. It was hemp, and they found that in a library. The translation of the plant that they used with the olive oil. So they actually feel that it was a medicinal oil.
I'm not disclaiming that it's a medicinal oil, or whether or not it will provide the results that we're looking for. I don't know. We're looking for reducing the brain's uptake of dopamine.
Well, that would be the research on CBD, but I'll tell you what, I had cried every day sobbing for 3 months And that's why my friend was trying to help me. You know, he didn't want to hear me crying anymore on the phone. And so within days of taking just very few drops of CBD oil, it controlled all that, you know, hysterics.
Okay, well, what I want you to do is email me your details. The reason we don't mention or talk about other protocols or products is because, number one, I'm familiar. I'm totally ignorant. I can't comment on it. I have no idea. Number two, what works for one person may not necessarily work for a group of people. So, and number three, everybody has these organisms to different degrees. Some people are majorly affected. Some people are minorly affected. So we're looking at all those issues before we announce them or bring them into play in a venue like this. So please email me what you know.
Yeah, well, what I like to do is just ask if you know anything about it, because I'm really not trying to be an expert either, you know. Like you say, I'm only dealing with my situation.
Yeah, so, and I'm totally ignorant about the CBD oil.
Well, you know, with the internet, there's nobody can be ignorant anymore. I mean, it's a push of a button, and you can do the research.
About Morgellons and CBD oil, I doubt that you can find your research that quickly.
Well, what I'm saying is you find out what is CBD oil. What is the CBD oil?
Well, I don't know. I have to look into it. So email me what you know about it, and I'll look into it. And if it's pertinent, I will look into it further. And
well, at this point, I can't really do that. I can only just say, you know, I could give you the name of the guy that's in Colorado.
Well, you know, see, this isn't the first time the subject has come up, and you know,
okay.
But I'm glad to look into anything.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have a suggestion or a question or something to share?
Yeah, I was hoping you could kind of clarify a little bit about the dopamine again.
What's that?
Can you hear me okay?
Barely.
Oh, okay. How's this? Okay. So
a little better.
Okay, so this is Lisa in Hawaii. And,
yes.
You've been talking about this dopamine, and you said it's the reuptake in the brain that they're trying to capitalize on, or they're trying to discourage?
You want to reduce the uptake of dopamine.
So you want dopamine in the blood to go up? Is that the idea?
Well, I don't exactly know the mechanisms. All I know is that the research says that it reduces the uptake of dopamine. Looking at it, the medications affect different receptors in the brain. They turn some off, turn some on, depending on the medication. So apparently these medications turn off the receptors that would uptake the dopamine that is produced in the brain. Dopamine, what is produced when you're happy or something like that, and you don't want that dopamine to get into the bloodstream, I guess.
Well, it generally doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier very well, but I know people with Parkinson's, and they can get Morgellons too, and they have very low levels of dopamine. The cells that produce it in the brain are destroyed in that condition, and so their levels are very low. So then they treat them by giving them orally more dopamine, but it doesn't seem to, I mean, you give it, you know, and then they have to take it orally so that it is increasing the blood levels of dopamine, but it doesn't seem to be preventing them from getting these parasites.
I don't think that dopamine will prevent somebody from getting the parasites. It will reduce perhaps the attractor factor. It will help one get on the diet more effectively and make the diet work better. But I would never say that the medications would get rid of it, although the psychiatrists claim that symptoms diminish, but then again, maybe the patient just doesn't come back to the psychiatrist and he assumes that the guy got better. I don't know. So there's a lot that we know. The first step is to realize that somehow dopamine is involved and that it's part of the puzzle, not the total puzzle. If you look at a video about chemtrails, which is very informative and a part of all the protocols that I send out for anybody who has filaments or fibers growing from their skin, the fellow who was interviewed in the video basically claims that the antidote for Morgellons is boron, taken 3 times a day in the form of borax.
I'm sure it helps in certain conditions, but no, it doesn't cure Morgellons. But the reason I live in Hawaii is because they have a lot of telescopes here, and so they don't spray here. I very rarely, sometimes on the the side of the island away from the prevailing wind, so blowing away, I will see chemtrails. But very, very rarely, almost never do we get any chemtrails in Hawaii. I'm on the Big Island.
What island is that?
The telescope. The Big Island.
What island is that?
The Big Island.
Oh, I'll be there. I'm coming. I'm going to be there soon.
True. I've been watching for chemtrails the last 30, 40 years, over 40 years now. And when I first became aware of them, and I've been everywhere, Australia, everywhere that I've been, except.
Well, your voice is fading and barely hear you. Yeah, there's feedback. Anyway, my point is I don't doubt the value of boron, but the fact is that Morgellons does not exist alone. And we talk about fungal infections, internal parasites, 5G, a lot of other factors that play into it. So it's not just taking one thing that's going to eradicate Morgellons.
Yeah, I tend to think that there is no cure. It's just keeping it in control.
That is right. There is no cure. It's diminishing its impact on your body so that you can live pretty much a normal life. The thing that's pretty much true is that when you get your life back, and if you've dealt with Morgellons, sugar is forever out. I mean, you might get away with having a birthday party and eating a piece of cake, but if you eat the second piece of cake a day or two later, it's going to be hell again. Okay, anyone else like to share or ask a question?
I might add that in Hawaii they banned 5G for now.
What?
On this island, they banned 5G.
I cannot hear you.
Oh, I was just going to tell you that the city council voted against 5G on the Big Island of Hawaii. Not on Oahu or the other islands, but on the Big Island, we do not have any 5G.
That is fantastic. While you're on the subject of 5G, I'm looking for volunteers. Perhaps 2 people from the audience who have been in the program, who are not just starting, because I know if you're just new to this stuff, it's overwhelming. You've got a lot to learn. You've got a lot to do. Like I said, it's like driving a car with 4 clutches, and there's a lot to do. But if somebody's in the program and making progress and has time, I have a series of 5G Summit videos that I would like to send you for you to go through them, and with each video do a few paragraphs of an write-up so that we can publish, and then more importantly, glean from these videos what every one of us in every state can do to accomplish what they did here on the Big Island. They did it in Easton, Connecticut. They outlawed 5G in that one particular township, and it looks like something we need to do on a grassroots level, not on a federal level. The federal level is too screwed up with all kinds of crap going on back and forth, and COVID-19, and whether they're going to bail out or not bail out. We'll never get anywhere with a federal approach. So we need to do it on a local approach. So if anybody's got the time or interest And in 5G, I've got the videos, and I'm looking for a volunteer. For instance, in one of the videos, one of the experts finds that every cell in your body has like a gate. And there are many different gates, but this gate is for the calcium mineral. And the 5G stimulates that gate to open it up and flood the cell with calcium. Too much calcium in the cell totally screws up your immune functioning. Your endocrine system gets totally screwed up. And according to Dr. Klinghoffer, did I pronounce his name right? Or, well, I'm sorry if I messed it up. Within 6 months of living with 5G, your immune system can be significantly compromised. So I'm looking for volunteer or tears. Thank you. Anyone else like to share or ask a question? Share your experience.
Isn't it Dr. Klinghardt?
Yes, Dr. Klinghardt, yes. I said Klinghoffer, I'm sorry. Shoot me. Anyone else like to share or ask a question? Somebody's doing heavy breathing into their microphone, into their phone. Anyone else like to share or ask a question before we close and do the drawing?
I have
Hello?
a question about rosemary.
Yes?
Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I dated her for a few months. We didn't get along.
No, I was told that rosemary is not good and Morgellons like it. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, it's just totally like the diet. The diet is typically what people would do to discover allergies. For instance, if you went to an allergist and you had an allergy, the dermatologist, if he's smart, might put you on an elimination diet. So you eat a food, and 20 minutes after you eat the food, you take your blood pulse, your pulse rate. And if your pulse rate goes up about like 10 or 12 beats a minute, that's an indication you have an allergy. Well, I used the same approach, but I wasn't looking for my pulse rate. I was looking for whether or not I activated with more itching within 20 or so minutes. I think the time is 3 minutes after you eat for an allergy. I don't know. But for skin parasites, it's about 20 minutes. So I simply found and discovered that with rosemary, it activated the parasites. And that's been borne out many times by other people. I found it does it also with licorice. And so those two things, licorice and anisette, in the same family, activate the parasites. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't like. I don't know why they like olive oil and care less about rice bran oil.
Richard?
Yes.
My opinion on those items would be that it's very obvious they don't like the rosemary or the olive oil or the licorice, and you're pissing them off.
What?
You're pissing them off. You're trying to get them. They want to leave your body. They don't like.
Well, but I don't know why they. I don't know why they like olive oil and like anisette and like licorice.
They don't like it. That's why they're agitated.
No, that's the opposite. It feeds them. The olive oil and rosemary actually feed them and make them stronger, and make them more active. You get nowhere.
Well, they're active because they want to get the hell out of Dodge.
No, they don't. They multiply and they grow and they like it. Whereas with rice bran,
the reason why they're doing that is to try to survive.
I've looked at this many years, and I thought that might be the answer, but it doesn't come up that way. One person found, who's into researching, found that for some reason the diet is low in phosphates, and it's somehow connected to phosphate levels. But I don't know. All I know is if you have rosemary in your spices, you're not going to progress on the diet. It's gonna stand in the way. Thank you. Anyone else have a question or like to share or before we close up the meeting and have our drawing?
Richard?
Yes.
This is Angie from California.
Yes.
I'd like to try that for you, look at the videos for you.
What?
You know, the videos that you wanted to have somebody look at and maybe write a paragraph?
Oh, for the 5G? Sure. Stay on the phone later, and Chris will take your phone number or your email address and your mailing address, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else like to volunteer? I'm looking for somebody who's really, really angry, upset that big industry is doing this to us. They're experimenting on us. They're using us as guinea pigs. And they haven't run the test, and the government agencies have just put a rubber stamp on what they're doing, just like they did with glyphosate and GMOs. Okay, one last question before we do the drawing. No more? Okay, Chris, you got a winner?
Yes, Richard. The last four numbers are 1100.
The last four digits of your phone number are 11 what?
00.
1100.
That would be me.
And you're the winner. Okay, stay on. You get your choice of the book or $20 credit in the store. And your name, your first name?
My first name is Rhoda.
Hi, Rhoda. You're the winner.
Hello.
Okay.
And also, if I get the book, which edition would I get?
It's your choice. The only thing is, the 9th edition can go out tomorrow or Tuesday. The 10th edition may not be available for a week.
Oh, I see. I might want to hang in there and wait for that 10th edition.
It's your choice.
Yes.
And the 9th edition will be going on sale about 50% off as soon as we get the new edition in stock. The 10th edition should be available on Amazon right now for $23.95, I think, is what it is. And we sell it for about $17.94 in our store.
Oh.
Okay. If you're looking for a buddy, and there's good reasons to have a buddy, because Morgellons is such an isolating disease. You're stuck at home oftentimes, you know, worse than the coronavirus. And it's good to have somebody to call or somebody to hear from time to time. So our buddy coach, her email is Daisy, like the flower, Daisy, D-A-I-S-Y, Jane, J-A-N-E, like the lady's name, 28, Daisy Jane 28 at gmail.com. Gmail.com. Email her. Just include your first name, not your last name, only your first name, your phone number, region of country that you live in, and if you heard somebody on the call that you'd like to speak with directly, include that person's name, and she'll list that and she'll send you a list of people that are looking for buddies and from which you can choose. Perhaps that person's name will be on there, and you can choose that person and call them. Okay, DaisyJane28@gmail.com. Okay, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Robin, who's bailed out on us earlier. It's incredible. She's finally gotten to the point where she can travel and visit her family and be with her family and not be concerned about whether she's contagious or not. It's incredible to have your life back. It's a wonderful feeling. It's great, and every one of you can achieve it. It's not going to happen overnight, but it can happen. Remember, clean the body. That's the diet. Clean the skin. That's the bathing. Clean the environment. And then, if affordable, get on the supplements to build health and immune functioning. So I love you all. Keep coming back. My goal here is to provide inspiration. If I don't, kick me. Okay? Love you. Keep coming back.
Love you too.
Thank you.